Tom, two sides to this. There's the Berkshire side and the JPMorgan side. Starting with JPMorgan, this hire for this, what is it, a security and resiliency initiative, what exactly are they throwing Todd Combs behind?
Yeah, it's really interesting from both sides. On the JPMorgan side, they basically picked him to effectively lead this 10 billion sort of direct equity investments that the bank is planning to do into stuff for areas like security, defense, critical minerals. And this is all part of that $1.5 trillion financing commitment that they've said, they're going to basically roll out over the coming years. It's about 50% more than they expected given the change in geopolitics. But it's a really intriguing hire. He's one of the sort of most influential people, I'd say, behind the scenes in finance, works for Buffett, obviously, basically ran the equity investments along with Buffett and another executive at Berkshire. And as well as that sort of specific role, he's going to be a senior advisor to Jamie Dimon and just generally, I guess, add to that sort of very strong bench of expertise at JPMorgan.
Just to get to the Berkshire exodus for a moment, it does look like that's happening, doesn't it, Tom? I mean, we've had a lot more personnel changes than we normally do for Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, complete change. Obviously, you've got Buffett heading out the door at the end of the year, and that seems to be precipitating basically a changing of the guard, I suppose. So, as well as Todd, they're changing out their CFO. And, I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, that's, probably one of the momentous change any company will have to go through. And obviously, under Greg Abel, they're looking to kind of maybe just start with a fresh set of characters.
Yeah, it does just raise questions, I guess, in general of what Berkshire actually looks like post Warren Buffett if a lot of his deputies are leaving. Tom, on this idea of JPMorgan, their plan, $1.5 trillion, pour that into sectors that are crucial for the security and national economy of the United States. How much of this is also a JPMorgan reading where the winds are going, reading a White House that has really tried to do the same and is looking to the private markets and private players to help fund some of it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In part, I'm sure it's done with one eye towards the White House. Is probably exactly what the Trump administration would like to see. Basically, before this recent announcement, it was going to be $750 billion, or that's what it expected. So a significant uplift. But of course, it also just reflects the reality, right? Moving into a more turbulent, more geopolitical world. And this is the kind of thing, you've seen it in defense sector shares, particularly in Europe, where, this kind of commitment is probably going to be, gobbled up by the market. And as part of today's announcement, JPMorgan also said there's going to be this advisory board that's going to be helping out Todd Combs. And, you've got literally a who's who of finance, politics in that business. You've got Jeff Bezos in there. You've got former Secretary of Defense Robert Gates. Basically, whoever's a big name in business seems to have been tapped for this thing, which just goes to show just generally how much Wall Street and the wider business world is lining up behind initiatives such as this.
So it's kind of exciting for JPMorgan, for Jamie and for Todd. When do we expect to start seeing action out of this group?
So Todd should join in January, according to the statement, and then obviously, it's how quickly do they want to deploy that particular, 10 billion. I mean, that's literally JPMorgan's capital. So I'd be curious to see, if it's, the sort of momentum, the kind of sort of metabolism of that is extremely quick, or if it's going to be quite steady, and particularly maybe we won't see any real world impact for a while. But if they're looking to get, in terms of the financing, 1.5 trillion out the door, you're going to expect to see that, starting, if not now, very, very soon.